What is the biggest misconception about?
That's completely false. There's so much more.
It's legal here.
And I think we need to be brave about it.
Depending, your background, that money is evil, credit cards are bad, they're gonna put you in debt. In my world, debt is good because you can leverage your debt.
Yep.
But see,
I don't even know if y'all remember 2008 stock market crash, real estate market crash. So both my parents were commercial brokers.
3 minutes of air squats is just as effective, if not more effective, than a 30-minute walk after lunch to balance your blood sugar.
My dad, but it was a weird, I'm broke, I'm rich. It was an identity kind of crisis.
Because how many more people? We don't even know how
Because
many.
the pills have symptoms to other illnesses. I'm not saying doctors are bad, but all they do is here's 10 capsules.
You're a Ferrari, you're not a Fiat. If we can optimize our health, then we can actually fully step into what we're called to do.
And I also just one day woke up and I remember God was telling me, you are meant for more.
So before we dive in, I have to ask, if you could describe your journey in one word, what would that word be? Amanda.
One word. I would say optimize.
Okay. Optimize. Mishi.
Purposeful.
Purposeful. All right. Stephanie.
resilience.
Resilience. All right. Samantha.
Overachiever.
I like that one.
Mm.
I would say ownership if I had to pick one for myself. So, welcome to the Test Kitchen podcast. Thank you guys for coming. We have a wonderful set of hosts who have a lot of wisdom and nuggets to share with you guys. So, let's just get into it. I'll have each one of you just I'll challenge you in 3 sentences or less. Tell us who you are. Everything.
Oh, I guess when he looks at you, it means
That's all you.
I love it. It was like a demure glance. It was nice. You're like, so I'm Samantha. I am a caregiver. I also work in corporate and I'm a lifestyle content creator.
Okay.
Nice. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Demar Lopez, and my company and my purpose in life is to help you solve each and every problem, starting with credit as the foundation. I teach people how to restore, rebuild, and leverage it for opportunities.
What's up, everyone? My name is Mishi Moves Money. I help people make and save and grow their money, financial services, wealth strategists, as well as private equity.
I love that. I actually started part of my career in private equity.
We gotta talk.
Yes, my name is Amanda Suklis. I own a functional medicine and nutrition practice, and really my core mission on this planet is to help peak performers bio-optimize from the inside out, become the CEO of their health so that they can fully step into their purpose and calling here on this planet.
Okay. Amazing. So, let's just kick it off. Stephanie, what inspired you to get involved into credit work? And what is the biggest misconception about credit repair?
Okay, great question. So to answer the first question, why did I get into credit repair? So coming from a nursing background, I never in a million years would think that I would have a credit repair business. So one thing about life that's constant is change. So as humans, we're constantly having to pivot. So the reason why I got into credit repair is because I had my own credit problems. My household went from 2 incomes to 1 income during that time, unable to get a car because of my credit score. And I'm like, okay, I'm a nurse. I make decent money. Why can't I get a car? So at that point in my life, I realized, okay, cash is king, but credit is power.
That's good.
I knew that I had to get from point A to point B. So I went through credit repair, got passionate about it, learned how to do it myself. I turned my problem into a career, into a company. So
Yeah.
Okay. Turn your problem into a company.
the other question,
Purpose.
ADHD, sorry.
Hey, I was up before that.
Yeah.
Please, thank you. The biggest misconception about credit repair is that it's just about removing negative items. That's completely false. There's so much more to credit repair. It's about coming up with the right strategy so you can optimize and leverage it to your benefit.
That's good.
That's so valid and true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Amanda, what's the biggest health challenge you faced, and how did transforming it open the door to where you are now?
Yeah, so my health journey kind of goes back really to when I was 16 years old. I had gone to my GI doc and they put a scope down my stomach, said, hey, you have irritable bowel syndrome. That is literally a Band-Aid diagnosis, but we didn't know what we know now. Fast forward a decade, and all of a sudden I find myself with all of these symptoms. I had been at the peak of my health, so I thought. I looked really healthy from the outside in. So I started going from doctor to doctor to doctor, was dismissed. And I was just a finalist for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. So I looked really healthy on the outside. My heart rate variability dropped, it plummeted. That's an indicator for your nervous system, how balanced and ready you are to take on the day. My energy dropped, brain fog set in. I could no longer literally perform just your day-to-day activities. Weight started piling on, and still I was dismissed. And so when I finally found what we call functional medicine, which is really just looking at the interconnectedness of the human body, I ran all these comprehensive functional lab tests, and we uncovered that there was a bacterial pathogen that had kind of wreaked havoc. And that was the tip of the iceberg. What was happening down beneath was there was adrenal fatigue. My thyroid was off. A few months after that, we found out I had black mold as well. And so what had started as, hey, this will probably be a 4-month healing journey, it turned into 18 long months. And as I systematically healed my body by taking data and really being able to make a roadmap, I said, I actually need to go become part of this solution. As I had mentioned, I worked in private equity, and one of our sectors was healthcare. And I'm like, how is it that I'm sitting here not getting any help? My body feels like it's failing me. I don't recognize myself. So I had to become the CEO of my health, and that's what launched me into this business and this purpose of just how can I help other people show, hey, there's hope, healing is possible. These are the steps that we can take, and we can do it naturally.
I love this. If that was a book, I would definitely read it. Like, do you have a book on this?
We can talk about that too.
It's actually really funny that you asked that, because I was on the phone. I was on the phone today with talking about the book that I will be writing.
Okay.
So,
I heard it.
yeah.
All right, Mishi. So you talked to me earlier about God speaking to you, pulling you into something that's bigger than yourself. Can you describe that time?
Yeah, honestly, in 2021, I came here from Boston. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have a car. I just had a job. So I came on faith. Like everything was on faith. And I came one way with my cat, Sebastian. And we stayed in one of those pet-friendly hotels for, a couple months while I got my feet on the ground. And I also just one day woke up and I remember God was telling me, you are meant for more. How many more people are hearing God but not obeying him, right? We're not made to just be working a 9 to 5. He's created for us for abundance. He's created us for more, right? We have all these skills and all this knowledge. We're not doing anything with it. We're not helping making the world better. We're not helping making each other better, right? So that's why I feel that God has called me to a bigger vision, because it's something that, well, for me personally, financial literacy wasn't taught in my home, right? Especially in multicultural families. It's not taught at home, it's not taught in school. And I don't even know if y'all remember 2008 stock market crash, real estate market crash.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so both my parents were commercial brokers. So you know what that
Okay.
means.
Yeah.
No income stability, no W-2. And they also made some poor investments for retirement. Had they known these strategies, they may have been in a better position. And I say all that because have you ever seen somebody who you really look up to where they are on their hands and knees begging God for something? I saw my mom on her hands and knees begging God for a closing, begging God for something. And that day, it was like, you need to help people. You need to not feel that way, and you need to make sure that no one else feels that way. And so that's why I feel that God has called me to a bigger vision. It's not just my IT experience. It's not just, my 9 to 5 experience. It's more.
Right.
So that's,
That's good. That's good.
I know, right?
We're called to lead a full, abundant life.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people too think that money is evil, but it's not. It's how you use it is
Exactly.
where that can be evil. But God wants us to be happy and abundant. And
Yes.
and I feel like,
And to do good with it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
How can we go get rid of all the bad in the world if we don't have the resources to do it?
that part, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Exactly. Well, I feel like we about to start a sermon. We need a church.
I got to I was like,
Preach.
I literally prayed to God. I was like, God, I need you to speak through me.
Yeah.
Use me as your vessel.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Let's go.
You here now. But that's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I was interviewed by Jeff Briley. He has a PR firm, Real News Network. And I asked him, like, how do you speak so well on camera? And he told me, he said, hey, what you do is you just open your heart and you just listen and let God flow through you, and the words will.
That's
And I kind of never forgot that. So similar to what you're saying now.
Let go and let God.
exactly.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. So Samantha.
Oh, forgot you won it already. I'm like, we're skipping.
No, we're going in not a round table. So what's the biggest lesson that you've learned working at one of the largest technology companies and being an influencer? How do you balance that life?
Yeah, I feel like everything you said, my IT experience, you said the largest technology company in the world. It's not just your IT background. You are made for more, just like your purpose. And, having something cool on paper is amazing. I'll never discredit anyone who works in corporate. I love my benefits. I love my job. Quitting.
Blink twice.
Follow me on LinkedIn. But, I've been there for 6 years, and being a caregiver for my mom, I'm biracial. I'm half white, half Latina. My mom immigrated here from El Salvador during the Civil War when the elder Bush, not the young Bush, the second Bush, he was giving amnesty programs for because of the Civil War. It's like not a genocide, but as close to it.
Yeah.
And it was awful. And because of my mom, she gave me a better life. She had to flee, and due to all the violence. And I lived in a very weird balance of my life where I knew what wealth was. My dad was, white, greenish eyes, like fit the profile. Went to SMU. I'm a quadruple legacy at SMU. My mom, second grade education, doesn't know English is broken, worked at Whataburger. I was used to the electricity being cut off. And my dad, he would take me on shopping sprees. I knew what being rich, he paid for my private school, but I had to navigate. My dad has properties, real estate investment. This is not just to brag about my dad, but it was a weird, I'm broke, I'm rich. It was an identity kind of crisis being biracial, but also being blessed because I was humble. I knew how to relate to all my minority friends, people of color. I went to a school that was predominantly Black, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, just, maybe the minority was white at the school. But being half white, I also knew how to, I knew what privilege was. And then I attended SMU. So it was a great balance. But I also always related to that. And I knew I wanted to help people from all walks of life. And I knew what the struggle was, but I also knew my dad would take me out of it, even though they were never together. And being a caregiver now, I'm a caregiver for my mom. I feel like having that salary, and it goes back to your credit, fixing your credit. I pay for all my mom's bills and take her to Baylor, and a lot of, I know I shouldn't say names, but navigating a corporate schedule, managing high stressful quotas, 30 million, working with directors all over the world, from Japan, South America, United Kingdom, having that cultural lens and background, I'm able to relate to. I'm only 29, but I feel like I've always been able to relate to people who have kids, even though I never had kids, but my mother's my kid, and being able to, sacrifice. When I was 19, I had to work multiple jobs to get through such an expensive school like SMU. It's like a 400,000 education. And just being able to be consistent, but also actively listen to clients and really relate to their background, and also, be there for more and have that purpose. So it all really goes back to God. You want to help people. You can't also stigmatize people or judge people just because they're rich, because just like you said, there are generous people out there, and, also poor people and people who are at that lower class income. I've seen it through it all, just growing up. And I feel like I also serve 3 different nonprofits, or I have in my experience. So just giving
Where
back.
do you find time?
Exactly. I never have time, but that's why I call myself an overachiever, because I'm always making time for something that when it's important, you can make the time. And
I say that all the time.
I'm the person that I'm constantly setting up medicines for my mom. It's life or death. She could die at any time if those medicines are not there. So I just think you just have to make time in order for the things you want to prosper and see, to make impact. So I think that kind of addresses the question in 10 sentences.
In 10 seconds. No, that was great. Honestly, all you guys have a hero story. It sounds like that origin story. The lineup is stacked, as you guys can see. But I want to know, was there any story out of what everyone said that you related to the most, and that you just totally could not relate to at all?
I guess I'll go first if that's okay. So I can definitely relate to your story. So my family came here from Dominican Republic. My family, barely spoke English. All they know was work hard, pay everything with cash. So again, there's a lack of financial literacy, especially in the Black and Brown community. So I do a lot of speaking in the Dallas and Fort Worth schools, and I'm a part of some nonprofits. My brother's keeper, my sister's keeper. So I speak at American Airlines headquarters, Toyota headquarters, and I'm serving kids that look just like me. And I just never thought, I never was good at math. I know how to count my money though, but
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
algebra, and so my entire life, I grew up in survival mode, 24/7. My mother had full-blown AIDS, stage 4 colon cancer. I took care of my mother. So I was trying really hard not to get emotional, because
Is she here?
no, I buried both of my parents at a young age. So my father died. He was a Vietnam vet, exposed to Agent Orange. He had liver transplant. He ended up passing away. So I was 17 when my dad passed away. I was 17 and pregnant. So I'm a statistic, right?
Yeah.
Then my mother surprisingly lived a few years longer than my dad. She ultimately died of full-blown AIDS. So my entire life, I've been taking care of everybody but myself. I also have a brother with special needs. So naturally, that's why I became a nurse, because I was used to taking care of sick people my entire life. My brother was born with Bartter syndrome, which is due to being exposed to Agent Orange. So he was born with a lot of birth defects. He was deaf the first 7 years of his life. I had to learn sign language just to communicate with my brother. And just seeing the constant struggle, you know, I caught my first case. I've been in and out of the system since I was 14 years old. The first case I caught was with my mom because we were stealing prom dresses, stealing homecoming dresses from Dillard's, and got caught. And even though my mom was a faithful woman, she loved God, she would tell me, Miha, this isn't right, but I have to do this in order to put food on the table. Like, I remember going through the grocery store and like, what do you want for dinner tonight? Y'all want steak or chicken? And sliding it in the stroller or the purse. And yeah, I know right from wrong. I mean, my parents didn't teach me to steal, but when you're on that thin line of, okay, you're the working poor class, you're on disability. Well, if you get a job, you can't make this much money. And I said, you know, growing up, I said, I never want to be in this position. So, you know, it took me 6 years to get my associates of science degree, like, because I had life-changing events, because I had to start my medical degree all over again. And so, long story short, I can definitely relate to you, because I feel like the last couple of years, I've really just been going through this like spiritual warfare. And then with you with functional medicine, I went from working for legalized drug dealers to, okay, I don't agree with vaccines. I don't agree with this, because I saw firsthand for 15 years how it affects people and how we continue to put Band-Aids over things when really we need to get to the root cause and we need to be healing people. And so I specialize in labs. So I would call people and tell them that, hey, you're pre-diabetic. And I'm like, okay, you know, I don't have to call in metformin 500 milligrams twice a day. We can just lose 10 to 15 pounds, change your diet. Let's go for a walk every day. But we live in such a microwave society where people they just want
gratification.
They just want a quick fix every day. So I can relate to all of these beautiful ladies.
Same. I can relate, because I feel like each experience, you can see yourself in that. So, you know, and I think where our journey comes from is because we've personally gone through that. And I think that's huge. So I think it's something that we really need to shed light on. And I think we need to be brave about it. We can't be quiet. You know what I mean? We have to talk about our journey, because how many more people do we like, we don't even know how many more people have been in our shoes or who need to hear about the education on health and the functional medicine.
We're dying, it's too late.
That part.
Because we didn't speak up.
Exactly.
And so saving lives. I know it's not like a powerful statement, but
No, it is.
It is, girl. Not like trying to make it like Delulu or anything, but like in a sense it is, because, you know, if you don't go on the holistic route, like you said, metformin, like my mom, she first had diabetes, then chronic kidney disease, then congestive heart failure. But it's because the pills have symptoms to other illnesses that all
That don't
coincide.
coincide.
Exactly. So how did she start having one illness to now 3? Which are not easy little illnesses. They're not just like, oh, it's okay, you'll fix it.
Yeah.
So, you know, in that sense, it's so important to vet out a doctor, do your research. Don't just go on the MD route, but look for a naturopath, look for a holistic coach who can motivate you outside of a doctor. I'm not saying doctors are bad, but I've seen the bureaucracy behind it, because I've been here since I was like 17, and all they do is like, here's 10 capsules for you. And I'm like, did you even listen to what that was?
I mean, Big Pharma controls a lot. They get incentives for the more scripts they write. And it's just, you know, America's a corporation. So, I mean, it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So it's kind of like,
It's bad.
I think one thing that's beautiful is the gift of perspective. And once each of us has had that gift of perspective, we've actually turned that pain into purpose. And most people don't take action from that. And I admire that in each one of you, because that's what I've seen. And in different ways, I can relate to every single one of you. Like, I'm the first Sucalist to ever graduate from college. Like, I'm I'm technically second generation from Greece, and I just got my Greek citizenship this year, and it's so empowering to me for that. Not because I want to go live a life in Greece, but because I think, right? Maybe 1 month a year. But for me, I think about the sacrifice, like, and that's what I hear is in each one of your stories, the sacrifice that your parents and your grandparents like made for us to be able to be here so that we could lay the foundation for the legacy that we're going to build. And that's what's most powerful. And I see that. And I just love the way that y'all are getting to the root cause with the numbers, right? Just as, and what I tell people is like, I just took my love for numbers and financial statements and I just moved them into the human body. Because if we can optimize our health, then we can actually fully step into what we're called to do.
Absolutely.
And y'all are all living proof of that.
And to piggyback off that too, is what you're talking about. You know, you graduating, being the first person to graduate of your family, you're breaking that generational mindset to break those generational curses. It's not about just breaking generational curses. It's about, you got to break that generational mindset, because the curse can still go on. But if that mindset isn't changed and shifted and pivoted, then it's going to continue being that whole repetitive cycle of generational curse, generational curse, generational curse. Because let's be real here, a mindset, you can change that. So I felt like that was on my heart too.
Physical healing is possible with the work of our mind. If you are telling your mind that you are going to be sick and you come into agreement with whatever those labs you're going to be back, you're going to keep being sick.
I've seen this with my mom. She'll tell herself, I just can't. And I'm like, the doctor told you that you would die. You're still here because you are trying to be here. And the sicker you are, the more you tell yourself negatively, like, you will die. Like, there's statistics show, just like when husbands die, the significant other dies because they're depressed. They don't have that other uplifting person. Unfortunately, they die. So mindset is everything.
It's easy to get trapped down that rabbit hole too, honestly. Like, that's why I like hanging out with people like you guys, because you guys inspire me. Because like I said, my word was ownership, and I feel like each one of you guys like live that fully. Like, some people would say, well, my mom is sick, or well, my family was broke, or well, you know, I had this health issue, and that's just gonna be it, and I'm just gonna like play into it. But like, you guys are the perfect examples of, you don't have to be defined by anything, your race, your condition, where you're from, your parents. You can really be who you want to be. And that brings me to my next question for you, Amanda. What does optimal living look like for you? Like, what's your day to day? I kind of already know, because I see you on Instagram doing like the 20 squats on the balcony.
Sunshine squats, yes.
I love that.
Yeah, there was a recent study. I'll talk about the sunshine squats real quick. There was a recent study that came out. Well, we need to be outside in the sunshine. It's just an air squat.
All these lights, we kind of
all it is an air squat.
Hey, producer, can you change the lights to mimic something?
But all it is there is a study that came out that said that 3 minutes of air squats is just as effective, if not more effective, than a 30-minute walk after lunch to balance your blood sugar. So you think about it, and doctors may recommend, hey, go for a walk after lunch. It'll help balance your blood sugar if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. Really, it's great for everyone. So this study came out, and I said, bet. And so now I call them sunshine squats. And whenever I need like a little burst of energy, I go outside and I just start doing sunshine squats. And it became a thing. Like, people come up to me on the Katy Trail and they say, wait, you're the sunshine squats girl. So it's just that's just like the small little foundations. But to me, optimal living, it's when you're able to bio-optimize from the inside out. And really that comes, one, there's two sides to it. And I think one piece is living in full alignment with who you are. So keeping the promises with who you say you're going to be. And for me, that started with building my health from the ground back up. And, you know, you talk about just taking like ownership and radical responsibility. You talked about mindset. And when I was at the thick of my healing, man, it was so hard to be positive, so hard to speak life over me. But once I finally got through that storm, I was like, you have to get through the healing and then you can step back into optimization. And that's where I'm at now. And I'm so grateful for that. And so really what an optimized life looks like for me is being able to have a full day full of energy, full of vigor, clarity, cognitive performance that's at a peak. And that comes from knowing exactly what's going into my body, nutrition wise, how I'm training my body, how I'm hydrating, the thoughts I'm telling myself.
That's true too.
Part, right? The music I'm listening to, the people I surround myself with. And I track everything so closely with my Whoop, which just is biometric tracking, but I can tell the days when I've been around a lot of really high energy people. The next day, my recovery is high. There's no coincidence in that, right? So it's holistic. Like, to me, an optimized life, it's one, doing what you're called to be doing. And you can only do that when you have your health. Because if you don't have your health, nothing else matters. Yeah. When I was really sick, I was given the gift of perspective real quick. So I'm like, wow, all of my dreams just got put on hold because all I could focus on was healing my body. Well, once I was able to heal, I'm able to go step into everything. And I love how you used the word abundance earlier, because one of my life verses is John 10:10, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I've come to give life to the full, life abundantly. And I believe that everyone on this planet can do that. They can step into that, and y'all are all living proof of that. And so to me, that optimized life looks like living in alignment with who you are, but sometimes we just have to go inward, do the emotional, the mental, the physical healing. And if we have the right data, we can build the roadmap to fix our credit, finances, right? Like it's all of those things.
Everything.
I know, right? It all connects. Everything is connected. I'm glad you said that, like, fix our credit, because I was about to go to Stephanie next. I was about to say, like,
It's like full circle of life.
right?
What's reading your mind?
You're right. That was like the pass off. We're all connected. But I was gonna say, like, speaking of like optimizing, you teach financial literacy. What is the hardest thing that people just still don't understand, or they cannot even, like, you're trying to explain something and you just like, why don't you understand? It's 2 + 2 is 4.
So that's a great question. A lot of it has to do with how we are raised, right? Financial literacy starts in the home. And a lot of us are taught, depending, your background, that money is evil, credit cards are bad, they're going to put you in debt. In my world, debt is good because you can leverage your debt. But see, someone who doesn't understand that, it's just like you're speaking a completely different language to them. It can be frustrating. So the first step is really understanding what's on your credit report, starting out with a full detailed analysis, getting a good credit monitoring system, being aware and understanding. So credit education, what makes up your credit score? What's a good credit profile? Some people get so stuck on, 800 credit score. Credit score, yes, it matters, but your profile is what matters the most. Like, what's building up your credit? How many accounts do you have? Do you have positive trade lines? What is your credit utilization? Are you responsible? Like I tell people, your credit report is like your report, your credit, I can't think of what I'm saying. Your adult credit report, right? Like your report card. And so it just, shows you how responsible you are. And it's just so many ways that you can leverage credit. And I think people just have a hard time understanding OPM, other people's money. And I'm like, no, really, like, I can show you how to get free money at the bank. You build a relationship, you're responsible, you follow the blueprint, right? And for me, it changed my life. Changed my life. It set the foundation and the tone of who I am as a businesswoman. Like, because of credit, I was able to start a trucking company. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how you can leverage credit. And it's just, to answer your question, it's really about credit education and just understanding what is credit and how to leverage it.
Right. Man, I feel like we're gonna have to come back and do like another recap, because I want to go further on like how you do what you do, how I optimize my life, pretty much everything. But for you, Mishi, like, now that we're talking about, financial literacy, this is like a little bit into your ballpark, but why is it so important for single high value women to understand money?
Whew, that's a loaded question. Well, here's the thing, right? So, how do I say this? Okay, so high value women, right? They want the high value man, right? The high value man, for the most part, has traditional values, provider mentality, provider mindset, all that, right? So a lot of times, a lot of women just let the men handle the finances. You know what I mean? Like, okay, babe, you got it. Whatever, husband pays everything. They all know where everything is going. And the woman just kind of, you know, allows the man to lead, trusts the man because, you know, they've built trust, right? So I'm going to allow my man to lead, pay the bills, everything. Why it's so important is because when the breadwinner or God forbid something happens to the husband, passes away, how am I as a wife supposed to be able to know where my finances are to help pay for the bills, for my kids, for the house, everything? And so it's so important for us women. Yes, we can still have that provider mentality, you know, in the man, right? But let's also be supportive and let's know what's going into our financial home as a whole. I think that's so important to understand finances as a whole. Because what is the rate of divorce usually? Because
like 40%.
infidelity, it's for financials. So that's why it's so important. And also, I want to kind of just bring in, I feel like it's been on my heart for God to tell me to talk to you about this too. But there have been stories, even I had a close business partner who her husband passed away on a motorcycle accident. She had no idea that where her bills were, how her mortgage was going to get paid, everything.
Oh, man.
And thank God though, she had a life insurance policy because now she was able to just grieve in peace. I think a lot of people take that for granted.
Yes.
And because now she was able to help pay for the mortgage, she was able to pay for her kids. But how many people think that life insurance doesn't pay out? How many people think that life insurance is a scam?
Wait, people think that it doesn't pay out?
Yeah, people do think that.
People
also think they don't need it, right? And it's not even about, the, like, you need it now. It's more about preparing.
Yes.
Right?
Proactive.
Being proactive, exactly. And as just any human being, you have family. Why would you ever want to put your family in a position where they have to go build a fund me or go do tandas or go do, you know, make plates and food and things like that, right?
It's hard.
It's just, why wouldn't you prepare ahead of time?
Right.
Oh, girl,
Man, I know.
I'm so passionate about life insurance.
We gotta talk
I
then.
love life.
No, I am, because I buried both of my parents, no life insurance.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
You firsthand experience.
I inherited heartache and their debt because I was the oldest. You know, I have two younger brothers, so I was next to kin. And so, anyway,
Wow, we got to get your book coming too. Like, wow.
that life insurance,
My mom's on.
game changer.
Yeah.
No one wants to think about it.
Nobody does.
Because it feels like you're cashing out on your loved one, you know? But
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
It's not. And a lot of people think that life insurance is only for when you're about to get sick or when you're dying, but it's actually for when you're and you can utilize it as an investment vehicle. You really can. And that's why the cost of insurance is how it is. You want to get it as young as possible, right? Because the cost of insurance is based on your health, your gender, your age, and your net worth. So the youngest you are, you will lock in your health, right? And that'll be the youngest you are.
My mom's expensive.
Because she's high risk and she's older, right?
Pre-existing conditions.
Yep, pre-existing conditions.
But it's better to lock it in versus
100%.
It's better to
the
have
doctor
than
tells
not
you
to
she's
have it.
actually dying a week, and God forbid. But
Yeah,
you know,
doctors ain't.
But you know what I'm
We
saying.
come out of agreement with those doctors.
Yeah.
You have no idea, like the stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
And
you're
then
fired.
there's also living benefits where if someone would get chronic illness, terminal illness, stroke, cancer, heart attack, or critically injured, you can take out a lump sum of your death benefit and utilize that. So how many more people need to know that?
One of my close friends, late 20s, had stage 4 cancer, went to Mexico for holistic treatment. She was able to pull out $8,000 a month to finance, the holistic treatment. She's cancer free now. Now she's a public speaker and she goes all over the world. And she sells life insurance now because it literally it saved her and it changed her life.
You need to tell me who to change.
That's powerful. I think a lot of people do need to know because there's so much that's available to us that we just don't know. I mean, whether it's like, holistic medicine or the financial literacy, there's so much that we can do that like people need just to be aware of. So for anyone who's spreading, that knowledge and wisdom, I definitely commend them. But your topic actually ties in perfectly to what I was about to ask you, Samantha, because you've been a caregiver, and so you've kind of lived that side as well. So how has that been, and how has it shaped your leadership? I imagine that word ownership again, like you've had to take a lot of it sounds like. So how has it shaped this, leader in one of the largest companies in technology?
Yeah, I feel like leadership comes in different forms. Everyone here in this room is a leader, a targeted leader for whatever they're passionate about. And I feel like earlier when you said your word is resilience, that's always been my word. Actually, in my college entrance exam or essay to get into SMU, resilience like 10 times, pretty sure. And it was even like in Spanish and English. It was really cool. I hope SMU brings up the receipts. I'm just kidding. It's not that important. I want to read that essay back because it was so good. And I know I got in because of that, not just because I'm legacy. But I feel like when it comes to leadership, being patient, listening, and, nobody cares about your product. Whatever you're selling, nobody cares about that. We're all selfish to a degree. Yes, we all have our own purpose and our own mantra, but the winning selling key point, because again, I'm in sales. I've been tech sales for the last 6 years. I've worked with small business entrepreneurs, medium business, government, public sector, directors from all over the world. We're global sales. So I know how to speak to people, and cold calling, gatekeeping. People are short-tempered from all walks of life. They're mean, but they also are kind. Like, I have lived there on the phone and listened to so many people. And when you have fun with it, not just because you're trying to push your narrative or you're selling whatever you're selling, service, idea, whatever. And on my end, it's products at my technology company, but they don't care. They really don't care. What they care about is the relationship, the authenticity, active listening skills.
Yeah.
I ask my clients, how's your dog doing? How's your wife? How's Martha? And building those relationships and not being so like, let your ego out of like close it, lock it, throw that key because it's not going to take you far in any shape or form. I brought the lowest team on our floor. They're terrible sellers. Now they're promoted. They're promoted 3 different times, but my previous director, he had taken me to the best team, and he's like, okay, Sam, I know you're a great coach and a leader to XYZ, but we're going to put you on the worst team. He didn't say the worst team, but everyone knows the worst.
Below them.
Everyone knew, okay?
Gonna go to that team.
And you know what that means? Low commission, okay? That hurts your pocket when it comes to money. And I was going to 5 countries, like, credit hacking. I love credit cards. I have my boyfriend makes more money than me, but I have a 100K credit line. From why? Because I opened my first credit card like 24 actually at my career, and I have a 730. Again, you're right, it's not about the 800, but guess what? I have more credit than anyone compared to the 800 score, because it is how you said profile.
Yep.
Just like dating.
Yeah.
Are you reputable or are you on that red flag app? The T app, I think.
The T app.
Like red flag or green flag. But long story short, being a leader is about caring and being there like purposefully. And don't ask what you're trying. It's what not you can do for them, because also I do a lot of calls, but it's also really getting to know them. And I feel like a lot of my clients still like find me on LinkedIn. They're like, you're not my person anymore. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's just, I have friends where like they're 50-year-old like they're 50 years old, and like I feel like I can just relate to so many different ages, not just Gen Z and people near my age or millennials. And it really just comes back to like listening and caring about them.
Yeah, that's real.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful. So that leads me to my next question. What is the hardest thing that, if you had to identify everyone's topic, like optimizing your life or financial literacy or being a leader or, all the above, which one do you think is the hardest?
The hardest?
Yeah.
I would think yours is. And I say this because there's just so much bad food around us. There's so much information that we don't even know if it's right. There's just a lot of moving factors that we are not educated on when it comes to our health and what we're ingesting and what we're putting, you know what I mean? So I feel like that would be for me because I love food. So
Hey, there's a lot of good food, especially in Dallas. I think
I love those chemicals.
I think it comes down to awareness. And so we might all have a different answer because my level of awareness for health is really high. And so I hold myself to a very high standard of accountability to how to best optimize my life. But I didn't have that awareness before I got sick. Sure, I had a level of awareness probably more than many people in the United States. But it wasn't until I experienced the loss of my health that I cared about it more. And something that I notice is when clients come in to work with me, if I can just open up their lens of awareness, they're then empowered to go take the right steps and set in the systems to be able to optimize their own life. And if I'm able to help people do that, that's what leads to lasting transformation. And so I would say every single one of you, that's probably what your genius is. You're creating that lens of awareness for people so that they can then have that level of self-accountability so they don't have to rely on you forever.
it's good.
Absolutely.
That's really good.
I would say travel too. If you go to Canada, McDonald's is healthy, okay? Like half
Heard that.
calorie. Everything that is legal in Canada is legal here. Like the FDA, like that is.
Listen to this. I traveled to Switzerland a few years back, and my sister and I walked into this grocery store. Every single product had a grade on it between A to F. Most of them were all A's in Switzerland. No wonder why those people look so healthy. Could you imagine if there was a grade on everything? I mean, you can get those apps like Yuka or whatever else, and you could see everything that's in those products. And even things that are marketed as healthy, most of the time, there's still bad ingredients.
And the secret boxes, they don't just have the tiny print, but they actually have an image on the cigarette boxes in London. It's like not a cute picture to see. Like it shows
What it is.
Imagine if people were buying cigarettes and they see that picture, like they don't want to buy it.
You may think twice.
Yeah.
100%. Wow. That's real.
Yeah, I think for all of our industries, definitely kudos to people. Anyone that does fasting, I feel like if you're disciplined with what you put in your body, you can be disciplined with anything. I'm definitely a foodie. Growing up, I dealt with, binge eating and bulimia for a little bit. So like, I love food. It kind of was like my
Comfort.
emotional guilty vice growing up. And now I'm like, okay, Stephanie, you need to eat for nutrition to be healthy, not just because it looks good, it tastes good, it smells good, whatever.
Because you're a Ferrari, you're not a Fiat. Right? So we need premium fuel.
Exactly. So I just think discipline in all of our industries and our purpose and what we serve, because we serve the masses, that creates abundance, right? Because the difference of where you're at now, where you want to be is information. And it's just about having the right information.
I love that.
Very true. Sounds like the optimal living. Everyone is saying that's pretty difficult.
Now I'm thinking, what kind of car am I? I think I'm a Mazda.
No. Remember, we're putting what we're
What was it?
what we're thinking into. One thing that one thing I want to talk about, I think it's so important, is that we also need to be mindful of what we think.
I
Because
say that all the time.
it's not even about saying, like, the words or the phrases that we think that are not negative to us, they're negative. They're stopping us. So for example, if we're about to go on stage and, you're saying, I'm nervous, that isn't bad, but it's already putting, what do you call it? Like a conscious,
You're manifesting.
Subconscious thought.
it's also putting a conscious on your brain on how you're gonna perform. So I always want people to just be very mindful, know when you're about to say something and stop yourself, and then rethink about the time where you did talk on stage and you weren't nervous. Like, think of those times, because it's so important to just really think about the words that we put into our head. We don't even think that words really matter, but they do.
Psychologically, that's called self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
It's like the cookie jar, right? You need to remember those positive experiences that you can look back on, and then you actually can reframe. Like, how often do people say, I'm failing, or I will try? I say, take the word failing out of your vocabulary. Don't say you're going to try to do it. You either do or you don't.
Try it. I will. Someone says try, I will be like,
Reframe.
No,
come back to me again.
you either do or you do not. No try.
We were fast friends.
No, I know. There is no can't. There is no.
Oh, I correct people all the time. I'm like, excuse me? No.
I'm like,
You changed the.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Not my route.
I don't comprehend that.
Yeah.
That's
Especially when people say they're broke, I'm like, please don't use that word. Like, I'm allergic to that word. Like, don't use that word. Yeah, you're going through a financial transition, because I have a saying, I don't work for money. I don't earn money. I attract money. I'm a money magnet. Money loves me and money serves.
Abundance.
Yes.
Money
Exactly. Yeah.
It all starts in the mind. I mean,
It really does.
because I think of, like, I call it the red car theory. If you say, like, think of a red car in your mind and you go drive home, and you might see like 10 red cars. So whatever you think, that's what you see. So if you say red car, I'm going to see the red car. If you say I'm broke, guess what? You're going to see I'm broke. But if there's a ton of black cars and white cars and green cars, but you're not focusing on it, so you miss the opportunity. Like, you may be like, I'm trying, or I'm going to fail. And then that's all you see, when right here next to it is the seed of success. So I'm big on that too. It's like, it all starts, the optimal living, I would say, starts in your head.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
But speaking of that, it starts in your head. What can you guys put into my head and everyone's head who's watching this? I'm going to ask each of you. So whoever goes first, you're going to be in the hot seat. But
Great.
what are the 3 principles, if you had to give anyone just advice that has worked for you? Just 3 principles, or less. If you have one, that's fine too. I'll say, Samantha, you're in the hot seat.
It's because I looked at him. So 3 principles of, like, can you repeat?
3 principles to life, or your principles that have just helped you, that, help you grow. And it could be 1, it could be 2.
Okay.
I just said 3 because I like that number.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good number.
You're biased against 2.
Against 2. Yeah.
Principles to life. I feel like just being patient, I like to say hi to everyone, and it really is shocking how you can make someone's day just by, like, talking to them, even if you don't know them. So that will take you far in life, like getting to know someone. Actually, just yesterday I met someone at the coffee shop, and she prayed for me, and it was just random, but it wasn't weird. And I haven't done that in a while, like, trust someone to pray with you. And she wouldn't have opened up if I was impatient, because I'm that ADHD person where, like, I'm impatient. I want to talk to someone, but being patient, letting her do her thing. She was in school studying, and then I just was like, I asked her a question like an hour later. We were in the coffee shop for 3 hours, and I was just being patient. When would be a good time to talk to her, ask her without being like weird, like stalkerish or
Right.
anything. And I think a second principle, just being open-minded. That also goes hand in hand with being patient. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Just I've told no, I don't tell everyone my story, but my friends, everyone always asks, like, I don't know how you make so much time. Like, you're a caregiver, you work at 3 different nonprofits, you're on the board, you work a corporate stressful job, it's just, and then you go to fun things and you work with brands. So I feel like being open-minded, like, people can judge you and they don't know how you got there, but also they don't know what the cards were dealt with you. So someone could look like stuffy or mean, but really then you get to know them, and just having that open mindedness, like cultural lens, will open up doors, and you can talk to pretty much anyone if you are just nice and kind and open your doors to them. So
I sorry, before you go, you have to tell your story because there's so many people.
oh, I will.
Okay, good. Because I was like, girl, you gotta tell your
I
story.
never want it to be about me. Like, that's the thing.
It's selfish of you not to share your story.
Because how many more people are going
relate.
or need, I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Thank you.
Yeah, then you'll be a beacon of light, right? To see like all that you're able to do.
Believer in Jeremiah 29:11.
Mhm.
I knew that verse when it was my apartment infested with bed bugs.
Oh.
And it was like a plague. Like, it was spiritual warfare. Some people looked at it as a nuisance. I looked at it like, no, it's just like demons. They're awful, blood-sucking creatures. And I knew that was my purpose to, like, not just because of bed bugs. My whole idea, this whole podcast, bed bugs,
Bed bugs.
highlight reel.
That's it.
You put some creatures on my face, like graphic bed bugs. But, like, living like poverty stricken, like an affluent life, balancing the two. And I just knew I was made for more, and helping those communities that need it. And that's why I stay busy. If I'm not busy or helping someone or being a friend or leader or in any shape or form, I feel not empty, but I feel like, life is too short. You have to give back in some way, even if it's calling up a friend.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love that. I think for me, advice or principles, releasing past trauma. A lot of times we hold on to childhood trauma or trauma. Growing up, I grew up in a very vain household. Like, we weren't supposed to talk about problems. You just dealt with it, chin up. And it's like you just go around life and like you have to be so hard. You have to be so, I had to like maintain this image all the time. And like even at my mother's funeral, like they're like, oh, Maria, she was a, faithful woman, beautiful woman, cancer got her. No, tell everybody that she had AIDS. Why don't you tell everybody how y'all treated her different? Everybody started writing their names on the cup. Growing up as a child and going through that, like I just dealt with the stigma of living with someone that had AIDS. Like, she was diagnosed in the early 90s. And, just dealing with your trauma, being your authentic self. My business quadrupled once I started sharing my testimony. And people are like, wow, you went through all this. But the thing is we've all gone through things.
Yeah.
Right? We've all gone through things. And I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we share. You just never know. It's so important to share your testimony because you never know that those are your people. That's your audience. Those are people that can relate to you, and it's like they automatically gain trust with you
100%.
because they know that you've been through some type of struggle. We're not just some pretty women, teaching finances or teaching health or teaching, leadership. Like, we've gone through things. Like, you've been a patient before. I've been denied before. Things like that. So I would say releasing, dealing with childhood trauma or any type of trauma, getting therapy or finding some type of healthy avenue to release that. Authenticity, and then relationship capital. Relationship capital gets you in places that money never can, that degrees never can. In relationship capital, networking. I love networking because I've met all these amazing people here, because it's like, even for your introverted people, sometimes my social battery is like You know, and people are like, how do you do it? And sometimes I just have to like pray and just, and then it's always that one time where you didn't go or you almost didn't go.
Yes.
You meet the person that changes your life, that becomes your coach or becomes
Yes.
your mentor. So,
That is so true.
yeah.
I probably can relate to that one the most to answer that old question. It's
Mhm.
like the things you say, I don't feel like it, but you make yourself do it, and it turns out to be the best thing that
Yes.
you ever did.
Mhm. Absolutely.
The first thing, let go and let God. Like, build your relationship with Him. I think so many times we, when things are going so well, we don't really give glory to Him because it's almost like we're so caught up in the light or in the celebration that we don't really give all the glory to Him, you know. And then the second one is believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then who is gonna believe in you, right? Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe that you were called to do what you're supposed to be doing. Believe that God has already ordained His steps. Believe that you were called to be greater than what you are now, right? And then the last one is never be the smartest person in the room. Always be open and willing to learn. Because if you're not growing, you're dying.
hmm
Smart.
That's why I invited y'all.
You want to
I'm winning.
live?
I'm winning on that.
Oh, I love that. My first one, test, don't guess. It wasn't until I actually figured out what was going on inside of my body that I could start to heal. And that really laid the foundation for me.
Yeah.
Second one, I would say, is if God gives you a vision, double down on that, burn the boats, because He's going to help you see it through. And that's where that belief in self comes in, and just knowing and trusting that, yes, there's going to be valleys and there's going to be mountaintops, but you can only experience a level of joy so high equivalent to the lows that you've experienced. And so often people say, Amanda, you are just this joy-filled person. How are you so happy and energetic all the time? And what I've come to share more is I've only been able to experience those high highs because I have hit rock bottom so many times. So many times. And so knowing that if God plants something in your heart, He's going to help you to see it through. And He doesn't give us a flashlight. He gives us a lamp upon our feet. So just taking one step at a time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
You sure you don't want to be a pastor?
No, I just got Jesus in my heart. Okay.
Second calling too. You're multifaceted.
I know, right? It could be all of you guys.
So funny. And the third one I would say is be kind and be you.
Yeah.
And I think for so long, I tried to fit this mold of who I thought I should be.
Mhm.
And as a performer, as a dancer, you're constantly performing.
Mhm.
And so I thought, oh, well, I'm good at numbers. It's selfish of me if I'm in front of a camera and if I'm performing. And what that created was dis-ease in my body because I wasn't living in alignment with myself. So yes, my physical body failed me, but it's because I wasn't living in alignment with who I was called to be and who I was put on this planet. And so once I fully became who God meant me to be, like you said, relationship capital, right? The right people will come into your ether, come into your sphere as your energy frequency is just at this place that's undeniable. And so the more that we need more people on this planet who just show up as authentically themselves, because we live in a world where that's not prevalent. And nothing's going to connect people more than your heart. And so when you lead with your heart, you're not going to lose.
That's right.
Less aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heart posture is everything. Yeah.
I actually learned from one of my mentors. He said, you can make all this money, right?
Mhm.
But if you don't have the mindset, the spirit, favor from God, right? Alignment with God, your body for energy, right? You need to be in energy. And your, wait, what did I say?
Mind, body, spirit.
And, wow, this is not what I'm supposed to.
You said mindset,
Mind, body,
alignment,
spirit, alignment,
energy, your body, healthy body,
Heart.
heart.
That's what I'm saying.
Harsh.
Yes, if you don't have those four in alignment, then it's not about making the money, but how are you going to keep it? But not only keeping it, but building those relationships that help you keep that flow going.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
1,000%.
That's, what's a coincidence though is like, I've always believed in the power of just thought and manifestation as well. I mean, not just manifestation, but plus the action. Obviously,
I was about
you got it exactly. Preach. But it's like more apparent today. Like every time I step out into the world, it becomes more apparent because like I have a journal that I've had over the past 5 years when I first decided to leave Alabama, come to Texas, be an entrepreneur, and just
Love
make
that.
a new life. But I started writing things in my journal, and like each one of you guys, if I had it with me, I would show you. But each one of you have said like, and the exact phrase that's like in my journal.
The artifacts.
So yeah, I'm like, this is real. like you guys are like my journal, like talking to me almost. So
It's more comfort.
it's powerful.
I love
If
that.
you're watching this, I hope you've enjoyed this. But I want to know, where can people find you? Plug yourself, your service, plug all the things. Not all at once. Ready? Go. Let them know where to find you.
Okay, I'll start. Best way to find me on Instagram at Amanda Souks Souks. That's find me there. DM me. Love to chat.
She responds.
Yours.
She responds. Mishi Moves Money on Instagram and TikTok. Mishi Moves Money. MEESHIE Moves Money.
Awesome. Solutions. So Stephanie Delmar Lopez Solutions with Steph D is on Instagram and Solutions with Steph on Facebook. And my website is solutionswithsteph.com.
Nice. I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm Samantha Curry. You can follow me on Instagram, The Curry Edit. That's not Steph Curry's last name, not related to him, but CURREY, The Curry Edit on Instagram and TikTok. And to follow my corporate background with nonprofit, philanthropy, and marketing experience is LinkedIn Samantha Curry.
All right. Well, thank you guys. This has been wonderful.
Thank you for connecting us.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of course.
Mr. Connector here.
Yes, that was so good.
Yeah.